Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Okay, so let's get into the situation between Tiffany and Stormy over there at Tiffany house. But I'm gonna go back to when they were at the Civil Rights Museum, right? So Stormy asked Tiffany if she remembered what she said about the mob. And Tiffany says, yeah, I told you I'll forego mob. But she didn't say it in that way, she was just paraphrasing. So Stormy says, why would you tell somebody that you don't know? Tiffany says, why not? Stormy asks her, why would you play with me like that? You don't know me like that. Now, as they're going back and forth, Kendra, Tiffany friend, baby, she done started scratching her head. She pacing back and forth. She done tucked that purse every which way she can. And what that said to me, Kendra was probably in her head like, friend, you better than me. Because ain't no way I would be going back and forth with this chick. I didn't apologize. I've acknowledged that it wasn't funny to you. Like, what else do you want, right? So in Tiffany's confessional, she said that she didn't feel like Stormy was choosing to let go of the offense. And I'm like, she's not. She's not going to let go of it until you acknowledge it and say it the way that she wants you to say it. Now, Chanel, that's Stormy's friend, she's going to say, do you know the racial implications of a mob? Tiffany said, give me a second. Now, the whole time I'm thinking, Chanel, can you just be YKK for about 5 minutes and zip it? Because I don't want to hear what you have to say. I know you're her chief advisor and all, but I don't need you to advise me on anything. So Stormy starts gaslighting and being condescending, talking about Tiffany thinks serving is a joke, when that's not what she meant. Tiffany had already told her that it was the way that she said it, how she was joking around when she said it. But Stormy is set on believing that Tiffany was trying to degrade her and turn her into Abilene from the help. So Kendra says, friend, she was offended. Even if you weren't trying to be offensive, acknowledge that she was offended. Tiffany said, I acknowledged that she was offended. Then Stormy says, do you care? Do you care that I was offended? Tiffany says, yeah, I care that you was offended, but I want you to understand that I was making a joke. Stormy reiterates for the 50th time that it wasn't it wasn't funny to her. And Tiffany says, and okay, now that I know it was not funny to you, it wasn't funny to you, but at the end of the day, it was still funny to me. And that's where the problem lies when it comes to Stormy. She does not understand how can it still be funny to you if you say that you understand that you offended me. And I think what is happening is that sometimes people don't know how to separate intent, like I was joking, from the impact, I was offended. And by Tiffany standing 10 toes down on this joke and about it still being funny to her, it's sounding like malicious intent to Stormy, in my opinion. Like, I feel like that's why there's still conflict. And Tiffany still feels like it was funny. She meant no harm by it. But every time she says that, it sounds like she's defending the joke more than she's acknowledging that Stormy was offended by it. But at the same time, Stormy is not entitled to decide what the intent behind the joke was. She can say that it offended her, but she can't make Tiffany stop finding it funny. Like, they're really asking the same thing from each other. Tiffany wants Stormy to understand that her intentions were misunderstood, and Stormy wants her feelings to be fully validated. But the only way that's gonna happen, and Stormy will approve of it, is if Tiffany gives the apology the way Stormy wants it, and Tiffany no longer finds it funny. And being that they left off that way, the way that they didn't resolve anything standing in front of the Civil Rights Museum. Stormy, in my opinion, should not have invited Tiffany to her house, and Tiffany should have declined the invite until both of them had the chance to sit down and have a one-on-one. They need to have a one-on-one conversation before moving in the direction of inviting somebody to her house. But what I find funny is, so when I think back to when it was Stormy, Kimmy, Tiffany Willow, and Tisha, when they met up after Tisha's event, and this is when Tisha brings up about the $100 and Marceau approaching Stormy, and she said that she talked to Marceau about it. She didn't like how he was going about it, but she said, I also want to say something to you because I don't like the way that you handled it. I don't like how you responded. So Stormy tells Tisha, you will not on any day, not today, tell me how to respond. Because anytime I feel like I need to respond a certain way, that's how I'm going to do it. Then she started going into this. I'm just trying to figure out where's the decor. Where's the decor, girl? Where was the decor? I'm like, what the heck is happening? What is she talking about? So Tisha's like, I don't know what's wrong with you right now. Like, I'm trying to figure out where this conversation is going. So Stormy says the conversation went left when you tried to tell me how to respond. Then she started pointing her fingers at Tisha, and she said, you don't tell me how to talk or how to respond. But yet they over here trying to tell Tiffany how to respond. Everybody. Amber tried to tell Tiffany how to respond. Fumi jumped in over there when Stormy kicked Tiffany out, trying to tell her, I feel like you should have said it this way. But the way Fumi said it, that's what Tiffany said. They just said it in different ways. It was the same thing. But the way Fumi said it would have been more like Stormy would have accepted it better. Maybe not. But it's just so funny to me that she told Tisha, you cannot tell me how to respond on any day. But they trying to tell Tiffany how to respond. So at the house, the way I'm looking at the clip, the way I'm receiving it, the way Stormy walked in and saw what her plate was, she had attitude. When she moved the plate, she had an attitude. When she told Amber, let me get that right there. She had an attitude. So anybody who just had conflict would feel like, oh, so she don't want to sit beside me? Like, what's up? And then Tiffany laughs. Tiffany was not laughing at her being claustrophobic. Stormy turned it into her laughing because she was claustrophobic. The same way she turned Tiffany saying, I'm going to need Stormy to mop, I'll force Stormy, into, you're going to be my servant tonight. You get this mop right now. I need you over there mopping. And once you're finished, I'll give you your check then. That's how she kind of turned it into that. And then everything that I'm saying in this video, this is my opinion. Y'all feel how y'all want to feel in the comments. Now, when Stormy asked her, what's so funny? That's when Tiffany should have said, oh, I was just laughing because I feel like you were moving your plate because you didn't want to sit by me. When she asked her, Tiffany said, oh, nothing. No, that's not what you're supposed to say. You supposed to say, oh, I'm just laughing because I thought it was funny. I just felt like you were moving your plate because you didn't want to sit beside me. Okay? That's what she should have said. When Stormy, and then she said, so Tiffany says, laughter, it's good for your soul. You shouldn't have said that. Then the extra little laugh that she did. We didn't need all that. You didn't even have to do all that. When Stormy said, you want to go home? You should have gotten up then. It wasn't no extra talking that had to be had. There was a say less moment. As soon as she said, you want to go home? You should have gotten up, found wherever you put your purse at, and went and called your car. Whatever you had to do. That's all you had to do. And when everybody started coming back there, trying to say, trying to explain the situation and telling you come back. No. She wants me to get out of her house. I am getting out of her house. Even when Stormy came back there to talk to you, when Amber explained the situation, and she said, well, can't we just all go back and eat? Now, possibly Stormy would have told Tiffany that she can come back and eat if Tiffany would have responded the way Stormy wanted her to respond when she asked her again about this mop situation. Because Stormy did say, wait, before we go back and eat, let me ask a question. So I feel like if Tiffany would have gave her the response that she was looking for, she would have been like, all right, now that we good on it, we understand each other, let's go back and eat. Because that was the whole point of me asking everybody to come here, because I just want us to start anew, start fresh, reset, whatever she wanted to call it, right? But that's not what Tiffany did. I feel like even when Stormy came back there and started talking, Tiffany should have been like, out of respect, Stormy, I don't even think that we should say anything else, because it never go right. You want me to get out of your house, I'm going to get out of your house. Just tell me where you want me to stand as I wait for the car to come and get me. It was nothing else to be said. Absolutely nothing. And I want to know, so when she gets in the car with her husband, when she gets in the car, she calls her husband, right? And she brings up something about something about Stormy having money and think that she could treat people any kind of way, and then you can have it one day and lose it. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was along those lines, right? So you have people that are saying, oh, she must be jealous. Oh, she a hater. Why is jealousy or somebody being envious or being a hater? Why is that always y'all go to? Like, sometimes it just give immature, like an immature mindset, because Tiffaney is not jealous. Jealousy is when you fear losing something that you already have. But could she be envious? Yes, because envious is when someone wants something that you have. So there was a post that Tiffaney made on her social media maybe a year or two ago where she was manifesting being a millionaire. Now, when she walked in the house, and like when they got on the estate and when she walked in the house, could that have disturbed her spirit? Of course it could have, especially if you're manifesting being a millionaire. You think you walking, you doing everything, you serving, you doing everything that the Bible say do, but you not getting what you've been praying for, what you've been manifesting. You're not receiving it. So yeah, you could feel a certain way. So when they were in the sprinter, she was like, she has her holy oil for the just in case. Old people had a problem with that. But Tiffaney having holy oil is no different from Stormy having sound bowls. Okay? When Tiffaney walked in the house and said she felt a little off, like it didn't feel right, it's no different from Stormy saying that Tiffaney energy was off. It's no different from Stormy listening to a dog. It's the same. They doing the same thing. Same person, just a different font. Okay? Now, is it possible that Tiffaney may be like resentful about certain social statuses or intimidated about wealth, or she may be competitive? It's possible, because when you think back, she was kind of distant at Fumi's house. And at Stormy's, maybe she was just guarded. Because, like, I don't know how this gonna go. I don't know if something gonna pop off. You could see that in the type of little hug that she gave Stormy. It's like, ugh, I'm just gonna make this quick. I ain't gonna hang in there too long with this little hug. So, did she feel away? Was her spirit disturbed? I think it was. Okay? And I can see why some people may have thought envy, because like I said, those type of people, certain people expect you to have admiration around successful people, around wealth, around beauty. They expect you to act the way Fumi acted or the way Kayla was acting, especially child about that blanket, because you saw how she was acting. However, Fumi in her confessional says Kayla going on and on about this blanket like she never had a blanket before. But if Tiffaney would have said it, folks would have had a problem with it. Or if she would have been like, they doing all this on and on, like they ain't never been on that estate before, it would have been a problem. And that's because it has been established by way of Stormy that Tiffaney is not the one to like. People who like Stormy, they're not liking Tiffaney because they like Stormy. Just like when Stormy said, why you laughing? You laughing at me being claustrophobic? Ma'am, please stop. No, she's not laughing at you being claustrophobic. But if you read the comments on any of the social media pages, now everybody claustrophobic. Somebody got in the comments and asked Stormy, now if they was to pull footage from Love and Marriage Huntsville and you sent in between anybody, that's going to send that little situation through the roof. Stormy says, well, you can't send a medical prescription through the roof, babe. And then Stormy went back in her archive and pulled up when she made a post one time in her stories about she'll be so glad when she had something, I don't know if it was a heart monitor or something that she had on her. She was like, she was to be so happy when she get that off of her, and being so claustrophobic to find it out and this, that, and the other. Okay, girl, we get it. We get that you claustrophobic. But the thing is, people that followed you from Love and Marriage Huntsville, it's like they don't care about you being claustrophobic, because to them it's always something with you. It's always you got something, like, oh, you stressed out, oh, you depressed, oh, you were so sick, you didn't call the cold. And when the and this something else that she posted about, if you go back when the situation, well, the reason they feel like that, because they always feel like every time something happened where either she showed her tail or things were going wrong with her business or people was on her head about their orders or whatever it was, some kind of way around that time she got sick. Is that possible? Yes. Because when the situation happened with that lady going up there to her warehouse, which I will stand 10 toes down on, that lady should not have been going up to that lady warehouse. I don't care nothing about she was going to buy some products. Did you pass a Kroger, a Target, a Walmart, anything? You could have supported her in that way, because how in your mind would you think that if you making videos about somebody every day and you being negative, what make you think that they're gonna have open arms and invite you into their warehouse if they did sell products? I don't understand that. Could Stormy have handled that situation a better way? Absolutely she could. But I can't tell her how to react, because a lot of people who saying she should have reacted a certain way, they don't even know how they would have reacted if it happened to them. But when all that stuff was going on, that's around the time that she said she ended up in the hospital because she had sepsis. First she said it started as strep throat, and then it's turned into sepsis. Did a lot of people believe her? No, they didn't. Just like something else, some other type of illness came along around the time that they had the situation at the dinner table in St. Thomas. So people are looking at that as a pattern. Every time something go down, she gonna come up with some kind of illness, or she gonna be crying about something. And because she know tears, that gonna bring the people in, that's gonna put the people on her side. So a lot of people that's following her from Love and Marriage Huntsville over to this show, they not as, if you want to say, hoodwinked and bamboozled as people who have learned her from TikTok. They just not. Because it's like, girl, every time we look up, it's something. Like, you got more issues than the health department. Like, you the emergency room. They not falling for a lot of the stuff that she do. A lot of people feel like they can see straight through Stormy. They feel like, oh, y'all fall for anything this lady say. Is it the money? And that's another thing people were talking about. So you have the people who are saying that they must be jealous of her money. They must be this. She don't be flaunting her money. She may not be overt when she do it, but sometimes she covert when she do it. She got a slick way of doing it, right? Sometimes it comes off a little passive aggressive. Sometimes it comes off like a veil covering when she do it. Because coming from Love and Marriage Huntsville, we not fit to act like she didn't tell Destiny at Galentine's, right? Now this is when her and Destiny are going back and forth, and she's asking her, well, you tell me what happened. And that's like, well, you ask her. And they just going back and forth. She's like, well, I'm asking you. The same thing that her and Tiffany did at the beginning of their conversation. So she tells Destiny, you don't want to do that with me, Destiny. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough to come at me like that, bitch. You ain't got enough. You ain't got enough, little girl. On what day can that B see me? Nan day. Y'all see how B live? That's what she told Destiny, right? So what would you call that? Huh? Oh, they ain't got nothing to do with the money? It must be the money. And shout out to Deion Sanders. Must be the money. Baby, it must be the money. The same way when she was sitting there talking to Tisha, and she told Tisha, I took time out of my day, out of my schedule, to add value to your event. So you say her event won't gonna be done. If you want that to bring the value, that's what you're saying? No different than when her and Mel was gonna have a conversation, and she rolled up in, I don't know if it was a Rolls Royce, a Bentley. It was one of those. She had a cute little off-white suit and with a little driver. And when she walked in, she had a smile, but then her smile kind of turned into dang on first, because I'm trying to stun on you. I need you to see how I live. I need you to see me, okay? So when people say, oh, Stormy acting away because she got money and she like when people kiss up to her, they not saying it just to be saying it. They saying it based on what they've seen from her. So don't always think just because I saw somebody say that. Why is it that people feel like just because somebody got money that they're a nice person? Just like someone else was in the comments talking about, she seemed like a nice person because when certain things happen, she know how to buy support. You know how people be like, oh look, they buying friends when they see people go buy little gifts and stuff like that. So they're going off like when there was a situation, what did she do? She went out and bought the girl a purse. There was a situation, what did she do? She done put together a whole content creator situation. Something else happened, she just sent somebody a whole bunch of free products, right? There is even a situation going on right now surrounding Canvas Beauty and somebody that's affiliated with her, which you would think Stormy would try to shut that down, because man, what you're doing, they not going to be calling your name, they're going to be talking about Canvas Beauty. And I don't need that Miss Energy, the energy lady, I don't need that negative energy coming over here. It's too much going on. But that whole little situation is so messy, because the same way that Stormy was balled up and crying about how people were doing her from Love and Marriage Huntsville, they are now doing that to somebody else. That's not good. And it's crazy how it went from this particular person defending you, calling themselves going off on a content creator who was reviewing their video. You see that, you love that type of stuff, so you swoop them up, put them under your wing, make them, you fly them out, you do this, they over this for you. And now when they decide that they want to make moves and venture off into stuff that they like that's similar to what you got going on, now it's a problem. So they move on, your people start attacking them, and now they want to create something. What do your people do? Your people, or the people that's affiliated with you, go out and be like, oh, they trying to sell this for that price when you can get it over here, which is the same thing that people were doing to you when they looked up your product and was like, oh, y'all can get that from over there for way, way cheaper. And this girl was going for like 3-4 days. And people did not understand, why won't Stormy tell that girl to shut up? That's not going to be a good look for her brand. But you had other people in the comments over there on TikTok like, she not about to do that. She love that type of stuff. So when people say the things that they be saying about Stormy, they just not saying it because, oh, I don't like Stormy. I think Stormy, when it comes to her business, she is about her business. She is a great creative. I love how her mind works when it comes to the creative aspects of her business. Like, I feel like she for me would be second, and I think Judy would be first. It's just how they mind work when it comes to that type of stuff. I love to see them in their elements. But she gonna have to get the control over the people over there. But as far as her and Tiffany is concerned, I hope that they can get this situation under control. Tiffany, can y'all just get over this mop situation? Please get over it. I know they supposed to be meeting up one more time. Is Tiffany gonna go? I don't know. People already feel like Tiffany ain't gonna come back if there's a second season. I don't think Tiffany is the type of person that you can easily run off from a situation. But I don't know. But like I said in my last video, what they gonna talk about? If it weren't for Tiffany, they really wouldn't have nothing to talk about. But I don't know. If y'all saw the situation between Stormy and Tiffany, and Stormy kicking her out of the house, and they going back over this like just a merry-go-round about this mob, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all feel like they the same person, different font? Let me know. And I'll talk to y'all later.